Hi again, everybody. It is Playoff Central Live presented by AT&T, and we're glad you're with us. I'm Matt Weiner, along with the Hall of Famer Isiah Thomas, Channing Frye right over there. We'll take a look at the Knicks' next chance to clinch their first Eastern Conference Finals appearance in 25 years in just a bit. First, a Game 7 is on the way in Oklahoma City after one Nugget summoned the strength to perform, and an unlikely hero was summoned off the bench. Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets facing elimination in Game 6 in the Mile High.
Oh, got him.
Christian Brown up for the dunk, but no.
Thought he had him.
Chet Holmgren.
It looked like it.
Got to be quicker than that.
There's a whole lot of Chet Holmgren there waiting for him. Aaron Gordon with the swipe. Brown will get the dunk this time.
Okay, got him now.
And then it's Brown to Nikola Jokic.
Oh, you too little. Pump fake. Give me that.
Denver playing fast and up by 9 early on. OKC on the break. Holmgren to Jalen Williams for the dunk. Kind of a breakneck pace the opening minutes of this game. Williams then to Holmgren. Cason Wallace the steal. Alex Caruso to Holmgren. He had 19 and 11. And then it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander looking for a foul, gets the bucket, but no whistle. And more from SGA at 32, Channing.
When you are that good, sometimes those shots you're not supposed to make. Luck is skills better than luck.
However, plot twist in the second quarter. SGA tangling with Jokic, maybe a frustration foul. It's his fourth. He would have to leave the game. And Zeke, the Nuggets go on a 12-0 run.
Not only did they go on a 12-0 run, but they got their confidence and their momentum back. And it came out in the third quarter and kept it going with Porter knocking down a three.
OKC led it by 3 at the break, but it's Porter there, then Jokic on the post-up. Jokic blocks Chet Holmgren, collects it. Look at him get rid of it. And a beautiful pass to Murray for the reverse layup. Jamal Murray, 25 points after being listed as questionable because of illness. The wild card. Julian Strawther enters the game. Corner 3 is good. Denver wins the third quarter by 11.
Oh, you out of position.
Fourth quarter, it's the Joker.
Yeah, he took over. He was just like, hey, little young fellas, just watch.
He had 29, 14, 8 assists. Meanwhile, OKC, trouble hitting the side of the barn.
When it rains, it pours, as Zeke used to say. It could always get worse.
Denver up by 14 at that point. Look at this.
But the Joker can make it worse.
Joker not looking, but finding Brown in the dunker spot. Brown had 23, 11, and 5 assists. Denver up by 15, looking to put it away. Strawther, 3 of 4 from the great beyond. He had 15 points. That's a postseason playoff high, postseason career high. And then Westbrook, Russ helps put it away for Denver, and they win at 119 to 107. After fading down the stretch in the previous 2 OKC wins, the Nuggets won the second half by 15 to stay alive. They were also plus 17 from the free throw line in this game. Denver will now play their 7th Game 7 since 2019. That's most league-wide.
Just how happy were you for Julian Strawther to have that moment?
Super happy, man, because we all know what he's capable of. He just kind of needs to see the floor and get his rhythm, get some time in, not foul, stuff like that. But I mean, you can see how he can impact the game real quick in a high pressure moment. So it was just really good to see him catch that rhythm, show that emotion, and get everybody going. I really felt like he, even when they kind of came back or had a run, like his energy really set the tone for us. Everybody kind of realized what was going on, and we were able to just build off that kind of energy. The crowd got into it and everything like that. So it was just, I think it was just a snowball effect, and we all played better after that, to be honest.
I mean, obviously, the last couple of months I've been dealing with injuries and being in and out of rotation, but just staying consistent to my routine and, understanding that if I could put my work in, that I could trust and be okay with whatever happens out there on the court. So, just practicing and working out as if, I'm going to be in the rotation and in the playoffs, understanding that, we need guys to step up, and I'm one of them guys that I feel like I can do it.
It's going to be very fun. It's going to be the highest intensity basketball that you ever play. But at the same time, it's still just basketball. You have to go out there, have fun, play free, and let the chips fall where they may. But you have to play free and confident above all.
I'll take Canadian point guards for 57. The combined scoring total of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jamal Murray in this Game 6. Murray's 25, particularly notable because, again, he was questionable before this game began because of an illness. He wound up a plus 28, best on the floor for any player. But, Zeke, if you're talking about a Denver win, you're talking about Nikola Jokic because his fingerprints were all over it.
All over the game and definitely now all over the series. And the way he's playing right now, he's figured it out. Early in the series, he saw that they were coming to double team him with the two bigs. So what does he do? He takes one big low. You got size, but you ain't got no weight. You're too little, Chet, right? You ain't got enough booty on you. And here, right? He's not going to the big man. He's going to go away from the trap, shoot the little floater over smaller. So he's staying away from the two bigs in terms of the double team. Now he's pushing it up court. He gets to the foul line and he looks, oh, I got little Shai on me. Shai's in foul trouble. Now watch Shai try to go for the steal and Jokic say, look, man, you out of position. You're supposed to be between the ball and the basket. Nice little floater over the top. Hey, the Joker has figured it out. And not only has he figured it out, he's making it look easy. You know, it wasn't a hard 27 or 28 points, whatever he had. It was very methodical, very easy, and he was able to do it at his own pace without expending a lot of energy to get it done.
29 points on just 14 shots and still controlling the game as a passer as well. Something else OKC's going to have to try to figure out is Denver's zone. It seemed to cause them problems in this game.
Yeah, I mean, when you go in a zone, when you have guys who aren't necessarily known for defense or you have a short roster, as they do, look at this zone. Jokic is chilling. He's not really guarding anybody. And again, here, Hartenstein's not comfortable with that pass, creates turnovers and opportunities for Michael Porter Jr., who may have been put into action. So they go in this action. AC is not ready to shoot that ball. They force him into another bad shot. Now look at this. They get out in transition and get to running. Now they're in like kind of a switch 1-3-1 zone, 2-3 zone, kind of switching zone here, like Miami plays. Chet goes to dribble, gets the ball, and then guess who's shooting the ball? The guy that they want to shoot the ball, Lou Dort. And right here, they're just saying they're getting frustrated because they don't know who's open. In that zone, they made OKC settle for threes, settle for jumpers. There was no action. And even when you thought you wanted to go one-on-one versus a matchup you like, there's four other people staring at you. Denver rebounded the basketball. They got one stop. There was not a lot of offensive rebounds for OKC. They kept them off the line, and it made them think. This is not a time to be thinking.
Yeah.
Right?
Explain the foul line difference because that's an excellent point that you have.
So when you get players like Jokic who gets to the foul line easy, you're giving him a rhythm. When you get a guy like Struthers or Jamal Murray or Aaron Gordon, when they get to the free throw line, that's not only them a chance to rest and to shoot easy free throws, they get to set their defense. It's hard. Usually in the NBA, on a miss, you go into a man because it's hard to match up into a zone. When you make or there's a free throw, you can get your zone set up. So the more that Denver is getting, SGA in foul trouble, getting Hartenstein in foul trouble, now Dagnall has to go down to that bench where he may not be comfortable. The bench didn't show up today. Some of their stars didn't show up today. It's because Denver punched them in the mouth early, and they had to come back. And that zone allowed Jamal Murray, the flu game, to chill out, right? Because the action wasn't coming to him. Michael Porter Jr. playing with one arm, shoulder don't work. And Jokic, who plays 49 out of 48 minutes every single guy. I know he only played 40, but he's chilling in that. He's not having to guard an action. He didn't guard a screen, didn't guard a post-up. They didn't do nothing. He was chilling. He's just being a big old tree in there, and he gets a steal and goes about his business.
And Denver gets to the line 32 times.
Yeah.
Because of the zone, SGA is known for getting to the line 9, 10, 11 times a night. They only got to the foul line 16 times.
As a team.
As a team because of the zone.
Yeah.
Denver has a huge advantage in terms of Game 7 experience, but home teams historically have won 74% of those Game 7s. It'll happen on Sunday. On the radar here, the Knicks' second chance to sink the Celtics and set up an Eastern Conference Finals matchup. What a response by Boston in the wake of Jason Tatum's season-ending injury. A dominant Game 5 to avoid elimination against the Knicks. Celtics were great on both ends, knocked down 22 threes, and kept their season alive for the moment. But the Knicks still have 2 chances left to close them out, starting Friday night at home.
Every game that you want to win, bro. Like, there's no added anything. Like, every game you want to go out there and win. It doesn't matter where, if it's at home or away. That question is stupidity to me. Every game you go out there, you want to win. You want to compete at the highest level. And obviously we didn't do that. And next game, and that's all we're focusing on is getting a win. Jason Tatum went down. You thought they were just going to lay down? Nah. Obviously they don't want their season to end. They're the defending champs.
Yes, they're missing a big piece, but a team, a well-oiled machine that has been in situations where they've played without him. And they played well. And we need to understand that.
I know it's easy to kind of write things off. Obviously unfortunate what happened to JT. But we still got basketball to be played. I believe in this group, so don't count us out just yet.
We got to win one road game. Obviously, they're going to play their absolute best. And, we're going to have to do whatever it takes. But I think, just constantly looking at it, I just got to win one game and take it from there. At the end of the day, you don't get to pick the tests that you have. You just pick how you respond to them. And that's kind of how life works,
Now, history will not decide Game 6. The players will decide Game 6. But history is not in the Knicks' favor. You consider their recent history, 5 straight playoff series clinching games at home, lost. Celtics have won their last 5 road games facing elimination. That is interesting ahead of Friday night's Game 6 back at Madison Square Garden. Zeke, how much of what the Celtics did, inspired play on both ends of the floor, can carry over to Game 6 and keep this thing going?
I think a lot of it can carry over to Game 6. And you got to remember in this series, Boston has been up 20 points every single game. Not just one game, not just 2 games, but in every single game, they've had a 20-point lead. And, in the last game, they had a 28-point lead. So I think what they're doing is effective. I think New York got to find a way to unleash Brunson a little bit more. And, New York can't afford to fall down 20 at home again and expect to come back.
More bad news for the Knicks here that the Celtics have found their 3-ball over the course of this series. Remember, they hit just 25 of 100 over the first 2 games. They've averaged 20 makes a game since on nearly 44% shooting. And in Game 5, we're able to slow down Jalen Brunson and avoid clutch time.
Yeah, and not only were they able to slow down Brunson, but they were able to attack him on offense. And here we see what they were doing defensively. Brunson always saw 2 men, right? And the 2 men weren't his size. One of them was a big fella, Cornette, in the middle, always looking to roam and shot block. They played a little bit off of Hart. They allowed Hart to take 3, and they always put pressure on the ball. White is an excellent defender. Brunson, although missed some shots that he normally make, but I think he was starting to wear down a little bit because of being attacked not only on the offensive end, but on the defensive end. Here he gets away, and these are normally shots that he makes, but he sees Cornette there. Jaylen Brown makes a great defensive play, turns into a transition bucket. I just think that in order for the Knicks to win this game, they got to get off to a good start. As you mentioned, Boston has found their 3-ball and their 3-game carries. Their philosophical belief is this is how we're going to play. Mm-hmm. They're not going to change. And if New York gets down 20, don't expect a comeback in Game 6. Remember, we talked about after Game 5, it doesn't go Game 6, Game 7. It goes quarter 5, quarter 6, quarter 7. Knicks averaging, I think, 103 points in this series. Boston is averaging 110. It's
interesting. We'll find out if it's repeatable or not. The Luke Cornette minutes in Game 5, remarkable. He was a plus 20, including 7 blocks.
He just plays ball the right way, right? And when you're surrounded, when you embrace your role, and now all these people say when you star in your role, Luke Cornette doesn't have the highest hops, but he can get up there. Mm-hmm. He is a great rim roller. He understands positions. He's a willing passer. And one thing that he does, he reads screens really, really well. Everyone is worried about that 3. In a minute, like when I was playing with Steve, the minute somebody goes over top, when you cut to the hoop, you're going to get an action to happen. And the way that Boston playing, yes, they're going to miss JT, and we're going to talk about this in a second, in the crunch time. But They have 7 guys that shoot over 35%.
Yeah.
And that's why you're like, why you shoot 60? Well, nobody built a team with 7 dudes who can shoot 10 and make them at a good clip. So for Luke Cornett, he goes, man, my job is to get you open, and then all I got to do is go here and just be there. And with Derek White on bodies, Drew Holiday's, Jaylen Brown, you're talking about some of the best two-way players in the game, staying on your body. Luke Cornett doesn't have to foul because the driver doesn't even see him till the last second. And at 7 foot and really surprisingly athletic, boop, gets 6-7 blocks a game. He just doesn't have the time because Porzingis and Al Horford are there.
And then Hauser's coming back, right? I mean, Hauser's back now.
That's another 37 and a half, whatever shooter. So, but go ahead.
I was going to say, that was Steve Nash that you name dropped.
Yes.
So
Sorry,
folks trying to puzzle that out, which Steve you meant.
Oh, my bad.
I thought he was talking about Steve Francis.
Steve Blake?
There was no clutch time in Game 5, of course, and Jalen Brunson actually fouled out with over 7 minutes to go in Game 5. Those were all good things for the Celtics because the clutch player of the year has been incredible.
So this is what I'm going to say. Now, you're going to say 9 points in a quarter. That's not jumping out at you. For me, if you watch these games, he gets great shots every time. What you're not seeing here is these type of things. He's playing without the ball. He's creating opportunities for not only himself, but for his teammate. I remember, I think it was the first round where he kind of took over in the fourth quarter, but they still lost. And he said, you know what? I have to do a better job of getting my teammates early in that fourth quarter going, and then that'll allow me the space to operate. We don't talk about his skill set enough. From his ability as a small-ish guard, built like a tree stump, can go and touch 2 feet in the paint almost at will. Yeah. And you saw that, the defensive clip, the Higo that you saw, they had big guards on him. What I didn't see from New York, when you got big guards on you, you got to hit him. Yeah. You got to get him off you. If you let Jaylen Brown and Derek White hover over, Jalen Brunson, it's tough for him. He needs space. If he has this much space, that's a bucket every time. But when you allow them to blanket him, he wears down. And you're asking him, with the minutes that he's playing and the physicality of this series and how hard the Knicks have to play coming back from 20 down, that wears on you over and over and over again. Man, they need to get those bodies off him and get the right matchup so he can showcase himself on the fourth quarter.
And also what the Celtics are doing to counteract that or to add to that, on the offensive side of the ball, not only they're wearing him down defensively, right? Offensively, they are attacking him. And you saw in the last game, they're hunting him out, trying to put pressure on him, not because he's a bad defender or not because he's a weak defender. But again, in a series, you want to exhaust your opponent. And the more exhausted he can get, the better it is for you at the end of the game. Right. Because now those clutch shots are a little short. And Channing, I think it was you who pointed out that the other night we were talking about him getting 5 fouls in one quarter. Yeah. Well, he's involved in every action. And being involved in every action, the officials, right, they may let 1 go. They may let 2 go. But when you're involved in every offensive action, it's like at football and holding, right? They can call holding on every play. Sure. They let 1 go, they let 2 go. All right, man, I got to call 1.
Come on, man, you're cheating.
But when they got him in every single play, the officials' eyes are on him. And just what we're seeing with SGA, right? He picked up 4 fouls the first half of the Denver game, right? We're watching, that's what happened with Brunson.
Best way to keep the clutch player of the year from killing you in clutch time, foul him out before clutch time can ever even begin. Much more coming up here on Playoff Central Live. Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves, remember them? They're resting and waiting the start of the Western Conference Finals. More on Mini. Meanwhile, the Minnesota's NBA Timberwolves sitting around waiting for a Western Conference Finals opponent, either OKC or Denver. They swept the Nuggets during the regular season, also beat them in last year's playoffs. 2-2 against OKC this season, for what that's worth. Who would they rather see?
I think they would rather see OKC. I think Minnesota's more physical than OKC is. I think when you look at like star power, I think they match up pretty well. And the way Julius Randle, I can't give him enough credit. The way he's playing this year makes them wildly, wildly dangerous with his versatility. And if Gobert can play, then man, oh man, that's a problem because now you're not getting nothing down there. They're clicking all cylinders, and I think OKC has shown they're still trying to figure out how to get to that next step.
I think they're good enough to beat both teams, but I agree with you. I think they'd rather see OKC because, I mean, realistically, who wants to see the Joker?
No.
I mean, they got no one has an answer for him. But when you look at the wing and the guard play, you know, Minnesota has, you know, they got wing and guard play to match OKC's wing and guard play.
Right.
But they don't really have center play to match the Joker. So
who does?
I think they I think they'd rather see OKC.
Even though they swept Denver in the regular season. By the way, one of those games, double overtime, Jokic had 61.
See what I'm saying? You ain't want them problems.
It's always a possibility, right?
Yeah.
First, there's a Game 7 coming up in Oklahoma City on Sunday. That'll do it for Playoff Central Live. For Channing and Zeke, I'm Matt. See you soon.
All right.